Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. Okay, moving on. This is another one. Not gonna. I couldn't find an article that Pocket would actually work with, but I'm not going to actually read this. This is what I titled the stream after, and I want to talk about it. So, Cotton says Trump's "you won't have to vote anymore" comment was him obviously making a joke.
It's obviously a joke. And you know what? Because we can take a joke so well, the bullet shouldn't have missed.
Yeah.
We can obviously take a joke so well, right?
So I saw there's, on one of the websites that I got some 3D printing models from, somebody had did a model ear with a thing chopped out of it. Trump 2024 base that it stood on. And, the comment section was filled with people being like, are you going to update the model now the Band-Aid came off and we saw that he didn't actually lose any of his ear?
Yeah, I saw a lot of the conspiracy theories about how it's definitely not, it definitely wasn't a bullet that went past his ear. But looking at his ear, I don't think it was a bullet that went past his ear specifically.
I don't care whether or not it was actually a bullet. I just know that the ear is one of those places where a little tiny nick can let a lot of blood out. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't take much to get the amount of blood that we saw.
Oh no, that's not
at the thing. So
I agree with that 100%. I'm not going to say he wasn't injured. I'm just going to say the conservatives that do the whole "he took a bullet for the country."
Yeah,
did he?
You know what? I don't actually care because he was shot at and he was injured during the shooting. Mm-hmm. What it was that did the injuring doesn't matter. It's the same. It's immaterial. It's the same. Yeah, it sounds cooler to say he took a bullet than he got nicked by a shard of glass that was shrapnel from a bullet. Yeah, but at the same time, it doesn't functionally make a difference. So I'll grant him the bullet, but his ear seems to be in one piece.
The one piece is real.
But this just highlights for me the double standard between conservatives and liberals and the way they're covered in the media. Because Trump says, "I'm going to be a dictator on day one." Trump says, "Vote for me and you won't have to vote again in 4 years." Trump literally incited an insurrection against the United States government. So he has a history of actually inciting violence against the government in an effort to stay in office longer than he should have. So for us to then take his statement, "I'm going to be a dictator on day one," as him saying, "I'm going to be a dictator." And yes, technically, they asked, "Are you going to be a dictator?" And he said, "No, except for day one." Whatever. He said he's going to be a dictator. You're not a dictator for one day.
I feel like it's a really weird thing to not let the politicians say the thing and then.
Naramdopus says the teleprompters were intact.
I think it's a really weird stance to hold Biden hyper accountable to every gaffe that he's ever had, but when Trump says something that is nightmarishly stupid that his media team is obviously going to be upset about later, we don't get to hold him to the same standard. Yeah. We don't get to be we don't get to be you hear what he said? He said the thing. Whereas Kamala Harris said something about as far as gun control is concerned, she's I want Congress to pass something, but if they don't pass something within my first 100 days, I'm going to sign an executive order. And they were all retweeting that and oh, she's going to be an authoritarian dictator ruler. And it was okay, so in order to get there, you have to read between the lines, assume that whatever executive order she's going to sign there is going to overstep the powers of the executive branch. You don't even know what's in it yet, and you're just assuming that it's going to be authoritarian in nature. Whereas Trump comes out and says, "I am going to be an authoritarian on day one," and we're all have to be "Oh no, we got to give him the benefit of the doubt and interpret that with nuance." No, he said the thing after he tried to do the thing. Yeah, they only tend to like nuance, and by they meaning conservative media outlets, right? Fox News,
no, the liberal ones too.
Like that.
This is the Hill,
the liberal ones as well, CNN and the Hill. I get that, but bear in mind, I have more experience criticizing the Republican ones. I typically end, except post Biden debate, where it seemed like every single news outlet was being a dick. But
yeah, there were plenty of liberal outlets doing think pieces on how old Biden was before then, while simultaneously not ignoring the guy who's only a couple years younger than him.
No, yeah, I think a lot of that. One, it's obviously conservative spin for how you avoid talking about the Trump is old problem, but I think part of it is also the fact that he is, to a degree, he is more articulate. He can seem more articulate. He can inject more energy into himself than Biden was able to, which is not something that you look for in a leader specifically. You don't need a leader to look like they've been injected with cocaine. You don't need that. You need them to just be able to make good policy decisions and be able to sit down with other leaders and do a good
fact,
job.
But like 99.9% of the job of being president of the United States is not being on a debate stage. So if you're bad at debating, that doesn't mean you're bad at being president.
No, but that's the thing that everybody seems to focus on. So I don't know. I think I agree that it is unreasonable not to hold Trump accountable for Trump's actual words. When he says, I'm going to be a dictator on day one, when he says, when you vote for me, those of you who are tired of voting in 4 years, don't worry, you'll never have to do it again. I think it's perfectly reasonable to hear the exact words he said there. But
let's even give him the benefit of the doubt. And, God damn it, you guys with your hats, you've all been saving up your points, haven't you?
They want to disrupt you because they want to watch you get disrupted the way they disrupt me when I'm streaming.
Yeah, so I gotta fix my glasses because but even with the even if we give Trump the benefit of the doubt, and let's just say he wasn't the most charitable way you can interpret what he said with you just get out and vote this time, you won't need to vote in 4 years. The most charitable way you can interpret that is he doesn't give a fuck what happens after he's out of office. Once he's assume that he's just knows that this is going to be his last 4 years if he gets elected, and he's going to leave peacefully, and he's not going to try and extend it or anything, or I don't even know how he would do that this time, because in theory, if he wins this time, he can't be up for re-election next time. But let's just assume that he's accepting all that and he knows that he's done in 4 years no matter what. The most charitable interpretation of what he said is, I don't give a fuck what happens to the government or my party after I'm done. You don't need to vote after that because I don't give a fuck. Just make sure I get mine. And the GOP are rallying around to defend him saying he doesn't give a fuck about them? That's the charitable interpretation.
Yeah, that one time where he's like, I don't care about you, I just want your vote. I don't remember exactly how he said it.
That was in Nevada. Yeah,
it was very close to that.
It was almost exactly that, yeah.
I don't care about you, I just want your vote. I don't care.
I think it's weird when you can pull Trumpisms out of your ass, and it's almost exactly what he said.
Yeah, and he followed that up with, I bet the media is going to clip that. You're like, yeah, because you said the thing that you said.
Maybe don't say dumb things. So I think it's a cool. One of the cool things about being a content creator, right, is you have this innate sense of when certain things are going to get clipped out of context, or which things you say can be clipped out of context and look bad. So when you look at the things that Trump says, though, when you see them in context, they don't get better. They just are accompanied with more old man rambling.
Yeah. So Axo is asking if Trump gets in, what's stopping him from killing the two-term rule? In theory, I think that would take an act of Congress.
You need a supermajority in Congress to get rid of the two-term rule.
Because isn't the two-term rule part of the Constitution?
Actually, let me see here. Because the two-term rule is technically not a two-term rule.
It's 2.5.
It's a 10-year rule.
Yeah,
you can only be a president for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's to make sure that somebody who gets in as a vice president, because the president gets assassinated, is still able to serve out a correct number of terms afterwards. But let's see here.
John 73 John says it's a constitutional amendment.
Okay.
So
yeah, 22nd Amendment. It's a 22nd Amendment.
Yeah, so he can't just up and get rid of it. But like, considering he sent a violent mob to the Capitol to hang his vice president because his vice president wouldn't say that the election was rigged in order to keep him in power, I'm not willing to say that he wouldn't do something similar to try and get rid of the two-term rule. Like, do it by executive order and then use his newfound Supreme Court granted immunity to imprison or something people that oppose his getting rid of it in government. I don't know.
What was it? I had a thing I was going to say and then it just disappeared. I hate that. Yeah. It was remember something and then it just went away completely. It was just his stacked SCOTUS will say anything he wants. It depends. To a degree, SCOTUS will do a lot of things that are very, very conservative favored. Obviously, we have a 6-3 majority of conservatives, with one of them arguably like conservative, moderate kind of. But we have found that the current
I thought you were about to say that there was only one that was on the extreme wing of the party. I'm like, what?
Oh no. No, for every sorry. I'm sorry. We have Kavanaugh on there and also more people. God, now I'm just remembering the interviews with Kavanaugh. I was like, sir, would you like to explain what boofing is? Can you please explain what a devil's threesome is? And he's like, oh, it's just a game me and my friends used to play. It's a beer game, you know.
I like beer.
No, it's not.
I like it. There's a political cartoonist, I think it's Michael Deatter, that anytime he does anything with regards to the Supreme Court, he's always got Kavanaugh in a beer helmet.
Jeez.
It's pretty great. Okay.
He likes beer.
He does like beer.